Round 17 of the AFL, and I'm sitting in once again for Spike, who's out doing his coaching stuff. But let's take a look at the week in football. And Hawthorn minus Brian Lake, they struggled last week, the Hawks. All is not well in Hawthorn land, and the Adelaide Crows have put together a couple of really good wins. The win against Port and then the really strong performance against GWS. They probably could have been forgiven for having a bit of a hangover, but they didn't. You know what? I think they can knock off the Hawks on Friday night at the Adelaide Oval. It'll be a fantastic game of footy. Melbourne take on Geelong in the early game on Saturday. Don't like the chances of the D's. The Cats started to hit some form in terrible conditions last week. They'll be too strong. North Melbourne, aren't they the surprise packet all of a sudden? They've put together a couple of big wins lately, and they should really destroy St Kilda now that Drew Petrie is back and out of the way of the tribunal. Western Bulldogs take on the Suns minus Gary Ablett. This is a real litmus test of how the Suns are. They're going to make the 8 if they continue on their present form, but they need to win these games without GA Jr., and this will be a huge test, but I think they can get away with it. Lions up against the Eagles. They've been good, the Lions. The Eagles have been disappointing, and I reckon the Lions can continue their resurgence mid-season and defeat a real busted and downhearted West Coast side. Swans, well, Adam Goods take a bow, Sydney take a bow, Johnny Longmire take a bow in the recruiting department. Who would have thought that the Buddy Franklin deal after 4 weeks would turn out to be a dozen wins in a row? No Kurt Tippett in the last couple. That still hasn't stopped the rampaging Sydney Swans on top of the ladder, and they will continue on their winning way against Carlton. Richmond and Port Adelaide, well, this is a game. Richmond got out of it last week. They weren't impressive, but they did enough. Port Adelaide have been up and down a little the last couple of weeks, but I still think that they are a team that can finish top 2, and they should be beating the Tigers in this game on the weekend. Essendon and Collingwood, normally it's the Anzac Day game. Not so this time around, but it'll still be a fabulous game of footy. Essendon were terrific. Collingwood were good in parts last week against Suns, but they failed to get over the line, and it might be an expensive loss come finals time, and I think the Bombers can get them, and Freo will be far too good for GWS. Let's have a look at the tips on screen. I'm liking the Crows as the upset of the weekend. Geelong, North in the easy games. The Suns to continue their winning way. The Brisbane Lions to beat the Eagles. Swans certainties over Carlton. Then Port Adelaide to beat the Tigers. Essendon over Collingwood. And Freo to win by the best part of 100 points against GWS.